One. So I actually got a call from my other surgeon just a few minutes ago, I guess. And he actually confirmed that I do have an obstructed, and okay, hold on a second, anterial tibial artery. So there is an obstruction. So I'm not sure why they didn't tell me that originally at the hospital. And the other thing he actually also told me, which I knew that there were some vessels taken out, but he says there was a lot of vessels taken out during my original surgery, which, with all the muscle and everything else that was taken out and all the tissues. But most of my vessels actually in my leg are attenuated, which means they're thin and reduced in thickness. So they're either extreme or severe, is what he said today. So that is definitely a problem, obviously. And they also figure, he actually figures that I have CRPS, which is called complex regional pain syndrome. So I already have a referral to the pain clinic, but he's going to try and fast track that. I actually took off, so I've been wearing the compression that I had, and I took it off yesterday, and I'm not kidding, my leg, the whole leg, top to bottom, was purple and red blotches, like really dark. And then it had these, on the inside of my leg, it had these white dots all the way down my leg, which was quite weird. The leg feels extremely weird right now too. I have the compression on, and it feels better with the compression than it does without the compression. But it still feels extremely weird. And my muscles, at least I think it's my muscles back there, are like spazzing all the time or shaking or something really weird. They're going through some weird stuff back there. So something's going on. So he's fast tracking my pain clinic referral. He says, and the big thing that they want to do right now is get the swelling under control, because it seems to be getting worse instead of getting better. So that's another problem. It's kind of crazy because there actually is an obstruction by itself without me moving the leg a certain way or having my leg a certain way. So basically sitting is frowned upon now, right now, like a normal human, like they would sit, is frowned upon right now for me. So the leg always has to be up. And if I do sit, it can't be for very long. I can't let it get, that red or that purple, I guess, and numb and everything else, because that is, no blood flow to the leg. So that is bad. And he's also sending me for an appointment to be tested for a proper compression. So they're going to do some testing on the leg, and then have a different compression for my legs. So that is good news. And hopefully that will help. So yeah, so there is some things definitely going on in there that they're looking at. And I actually asked him, I said, so is this like normal? Does this happen? Like, have you seen this before? And he actually said to me, he says, it's actually not very common. But with you, I'm not surprised. With everything your leg has gone through, with all the surgeries, with all the stuff that's been removed, just all the trauma, the radiation damage and the vessels removal, he says, I am not surprised that this is happening. He goes, but it's definitely not common at all. So, and then he says, but it is you. It seems to be the reoccurring thing. He's like, seriously, it is you. And, if you're going to do so, it is me. And if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it all in, right? So definitely not common, but he's not surprised that all of this is happening, because the damage in there and the surgery was pretty crazy and pretty severe. And then I've had 4 more surgeries after that were also pretty invasive, and a lot of things were cut out and done, and more vessels and everything else. So this poor leg has got a lot of trauma, that's for sure. And it's trying really hard to keep me walking. So I'm trying really hard to make sure I don't lose it, right? Because that is also a possibility that things could still go haywire. So fingers crossed they don't. Doing everything I can to make sure it doesn't. And he's working really hard to try and get me into the pain clinic, because this isn't fun at all. not gonna lie, I used to be in pain all the time with my back and stomach and everything else. And when I got better, it was amazing not to have that, you know, to be able to wake up in the morning and not feel the pain. So having this again, totally different, obviously, but having this again is not fun. It's exhausting. And trying to be okay or pretending that you're okay, and you know, doing all the things that you know, you still want to do all the things and trying to do all the things. It really is exhausting. But I have to say, I've been doing a lot of breath work, like really breathing through the pain and everything else, because the pain's there constantly, but it gets worse. And then it comes down, and then gets worse, and it comes down, and it gets worse, and it comes down, because different things are happening. But the pressure is there all the time. The nerve pain goes crazy throughout the day, insanely too. So there's different kinds of pain throughout the day. There's constant, and then there's other things in between that are up and down and all over the place. So it's just being able to breathe through it. And I've been doing a lot of breathing through this because pain meds obviously aren't working. I do have a card for a really good acupuncturist, so that's on my list to do. I'm going to try that, and obviously still physio, even though my physiotherapist is actually a little, you know, stressed about doing all this stuff with the obstruction and the vessels and everything else that are going on, but we're going to try and work around that. So yeah, so that's just a little update, because I did have a chat with my other surgeon today. And that's what's happening. So one day at a time, that's all we can do, right?